welcome this bill, and I want to thank the Rural Independent Group for its development and progression. In essence, this bill provides greater security and entitlements for farmers in terms of credit and debt proceedings, especially in situations where families are pursued by banks and financial businesses for debt. Crucially, the farmhouse, which is not only a family home but often a generational and intergenerational home, must be treated separately from the farmland in debt situations. There continues to be a significant imbalance in this country between the banks and vulture funds on one side and ordinary families on the other. This inequity is particularly pronounced when it comes to farms. The law and successive governments have failed to treat the farmhouse as a family home, and although rectified now, we saw the same situation arise in the original development of the Fair Deal scheme, which included all assets on farms. This situation has left farmers vulnerable to forfeitures and seizures, which harms entire communities. Policies and the law need to reflect social realities for the benefit of ordinary people, not for banks and for hedge funds. I also welcome the bill's provisions for alternative avenues to be exhausted before a farm can be possessed and sold. It enables a breathing space period to allow the farmer and their representatives to work with the receiver to develop resolutions to the farm's financial issues. This is in the best interest of all parties, as a viable plan can be put in place which will save the farm, while the financial body will get substantial repayments, which is their primary concern. We need more pragmatic approaches like this to these and similar circumstances. The additional protection and reassurance offered by this bill will not only benefit families, but it will facilitate greater agricultural activity and economic development in rural areas. With issues around generational renewal, farmers will have more confidence in being able to seek credit to address seasonal variations and invest in their machinery and equipment. We're all aware that the sector is going through a difficult time at the moment, from the massive increases in fertiliser prices early in the year to the disruption in supply chains. It's very important to note that although food prices are rising, that in no way means farmers and producers are making more. The opposite is often true. The dire need for a proper food regulator with statutory powers is for another day. Access to credit is crucial to keep people farming. Families need to be assured that seeking money to fund their livelihood will not cost them their homes. On this point, I'd like to mention credit unions. I cannot count how many farmers or rural organisations mention the importance of credit union loans. I can confidently say that they are basically keeping many family farms viable. They also offer tailored supports like the Cultivate programme, which provides short to medium-term loans. I include this specifically because the initiative is not only helping families, but is generating insightful data to understand the needs for the sector. For example, in the report for the first half of this year, 25% of loans granted for stocking and working capital, while 24% were for farm buildings. The financial systems need to recognise the distinct challenges faced by farmers and food producers, and if they do not, then the legislative and policy change need to ensure that they do. Our agricultural sector needs as much stability and certainty as possible. While we can't control the market and international supply chains, we can provide a legislative and policy context that supports family farms. Irish farmers produce high-quality products. However, increasingly, there are fewer farmers producing a range of products. Consumers want locally produced food, but the cost of operating makes family businesses and small-scale products more and more difficult. We need a radical policy shift to diversify the range of produce that will help support farmers, especially small family farms, and ensure a more sustainable and secure food system. Many farmers are being forced into dairy just to get by or are being subsumed by large-scale industrialised farms. Sheep farming is basically just increasingly unviable. Wool prices are so low, it's more economical to dump it. And that's at a time when we should be insulating buildings with this naturally and locally sourced product. And that's just one example of one aspect in the sector. Despite the expansion of the organic farming scheme, the lack of measures to support widespread organic farming means that it will remain a niche sector. Unless there is a major course correction The small family farm will be a thing of the past in a generation. This bill provides the type of security and assurance farmers and rural Ireland needs. I'm working on a bill to address food producers' vulnerability to food processors and larger retailers. We need a system to ensure the people who make our food can make a decent living while also ensuring that food is affordable and improving food security. All of these things are possible. It would just mean reining in the big players. Finally, I hope the government will facilitate the progress of this bill. It's more important than ever. It will help support rural family farms and protect rural communities. It needs to be advanced as quickly as possible. Thank you, Ciarán.
Thank you, Deputy.